All right, here we go. Hi, my name is Royletta Romaine. I am the owner of Healing by The Forkful. I'm a registered dietitian and licensed in Massachusetts. I'm a certified LEAP therapist here in Boston. And just so you know, LEAP stands for Lifestyle, Eating, and Performance. So I help my clients reduce or stop symptoms of inflammation, fibromyalgia, irritable bowel, migraines with food, not medication. You can find me on Instagram at Healing by the Forkful or email me at healingbytheforkfulrd@gmail.com. My mini podcast is short and to the sweet, short and sweet and to the point. A few times a month, I will bring you a new person who has been helped by what I call a personalized anti-inflammation blueprint. Please send me an email if you have questions or would like to be on the podcast. My hope is to reach and help as many people as I can by explaining this protocol. So, welcome, and let's get started. So, we have a special guest today. She is a child of the daughter of a fellow deep therapist. So, let me have Rebecca Hargett introduce herself and tell us a little bit about herself.
Hello, yes, thank you. I'm Rebecca Hargett. I am a dietitian's daughter, which means a lot of things, like getting to be the guinea pig for a lot of food, trying new food, and trying new programs such as LEAP. So I was the first of my mom's patients to go through the LEAP program, and I benefited from it a lot. And I was glad to be the guinea pig so that this program could help out other severe cases that she has.
Try a lot of yummy food because she's so busy trying new recipes, I'm sure,
Yes.
to fit your protocol. So
Absolutely.
awesome. Okay, so tell me, what were some of your symptoms or your diagnosis? Tell me about that.
So since I moved to Texas from Kansas as a child, I was 5 years old, I started developing allergies, seasonal allergies, grasses, trees, everything.
Wow.
And I was prescribed a prescription antihistamine, and I take a daily antihistamine that I've been taking since I was 5 years old. And so I've had symptoms for a very long time. And as I got older, nothing really helped. And I went and did a skin prick allergy test, and I did the blood allergy test, so the IgEs, and realized that I'm allergic to every single thing that they tested for.
Like, yay, thanks for that.
Absolutely wonderful. So what do you do then? You just live in a bubble. Made some lifestyle changes at home, but really getting the MRT test, it made so much more sense with the IgEs and kind of foods that I realized that bothered me, either gave me hives or my lips would swell up, or I'd have diarrhea, constipation, stomach problems.
Wow.
All of them.
I love about this. It's a good place to start, whereas the other tests are just like, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this.
Exactly.
Okay, so what am I supposed to do, you know?
Right. It was like, make sure you wash your hair every single day if you go outside because pollen's on it, then that's getting in your bed. And so make sure so it's a lot of work to have chronic allergies.
Absolutely.
But it just made a huge difference to cut out just foods in general. So I've had symptoms for a long time. Variety, different foods give me different things. Strawberries gave me diarrhea. Cantaloupe gives me hives. Avocados make my lips swell up. So it's kind of fun. It's all over the place. It's like I call it roulette when I eat out.
Rebecca roulette.
Yes, exactly. What kind of symptom am I going to have from this food?
Exactly. So you're saying that you've had these symptoms since you were 5. So
yes.
That's a very long time. And how many years ago did you take the MRT test?
So I did the MRT in the fall of 2021. I believe it was September or August. It was in August that I did the MRT. And then 2 weeks into following the diet is when I started to realize wow, this made a huge difference.
Yeah, yeah. It's amazing. You just have no idea. Like the foods that are healthy for you, you're like, oh, those aren't healthy for me. And
Right.
I was shocked I was eating so many foods. Being a dietitian, oh, let me eat the kale, let me eat the really good foods, and that was a trigger food for me. So
Exactly.
it's absolutely insane. What were some of the foods that you had to give up? Give up? Well, I shouldn't say you had to give up. You chose to give up so that you'd have more energy and be able to enjoy your life a little bit better.
So some that were really hard for me to give up. I had done like elimination diets before with no prior knowledge of MRT, and I was eating eggs like every day. I love eggs. That's like my favorite food. It always has been, eggs and chicken. Turns out I'm really reactive to egg whites.
That's so funny
Yeah.
because I would eat boiled eggs often, and I can't have the yolk. I can have the white.
Yeah. Well, we just need to live close so I can take the yolk and you can take the egg whites. I did have roommates at the time that I did the LEAP program, so I was eating all these special foods, and with the egg, because I love eggs so much, so I was like, I don't want to waste all the egg whites, so I gave them to my roommates.
Wow.
We made it work. Another one was for my birthday, since it's the end of October, we always did pumpkin pie instead of cake for my birthday parties. Turns out pumpkin, vanilla, nutmeg,
Oh
all
no.
super, yes, all super reactive for me.
Whoa.
And I was like, wow, I can't have my favorite dessert anymore. And kind of talking to the dietitian that I worked with, she was like, just because these are really reactive foods doesn't mean ultimately you don't have to give them up completely.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So
that's something else to remember. Some of these things that we're reactive to, they are dose dependent. So instead of eating an egg every day, I could have a whole egg like once a week instead.
Exactly.
Enjoy it. Mm-hmm. But you're not constantly putting in something that's going to make you sick, which makes a huge difference.
Right. Let your body digest it for a couple days. If I would eat some of, when I got to where I could eat yellow foods, because you have your green, yellow, red. She would say, okay, one yellow food, give it an entire week before eating another yellow food.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Just to give your body time to heal from whatever reaction, whether you notice it or not, that you could be having.
Definitely. You don't want to race into anything because it's like you spent the first 2 weeks cleaning everything out and you don't want to go back so quickly. So it's easier to do one new food for a couple of days to a week and then see what you feel and how it goes instead of all of a sudden putting yourself into a stress mode all over again.
Exactly.
So tell me a little bit about what you tried before you tried the LEAP. I know you're talking about medications, washing your hair all the time, leaving it in your bedding. Tell me some of the other things that you had to do that you don't have to do anymore now that you're following this protocol.
So I do still take my prescription medications. Even during LEAP, I was like, she told me I don't have to stop taking them, but I was like, I feel so good, maybe I can try, but it didn't really work that way.
Never stop taking a medication without a doctor. Absolutely.
Walk outside
and you'll be telling people this. Absolutely.
Right. Enough for my body to need some sort of prescription antihistamine to keep the environmental stuff down.
Mm-hmm.
But I had tried an elimination diet, kind of gluten-free. I would eat a lot of rice, gluten-free pastas, stuff without additives, which helped a little bit because wheat was one of my reactive stuff. But I even tested for celiac, and I was really close to being celiac without being celiac.
Yeah.
So we realized that wasn't a problem. Some other things like soaps. The razors I used to shave I ended up being really allergic to them.
Whoa, that's amazing. I've had some people who I've had to like, will say they would be taking a medication and the outer coating of the medication would have it. So then we changed
Right.
it over to liquid and they were feeling great.
Right.
But wow,
Yeah.
that's
And it was weird because I always blamed it on the pipes. It got really bad when I got to college. I blamed it on like the pipes in the old dorms because I would get out of the shower and I would just sneeze and sneeze and sneeze nonstop. And then my skin would itch and everything. And it turns out all along it was that, which it's still the best brand that I've used. So I just, limit. I just suck it up because it doesn't last all that long. It's not like I'm miserable, but
yeah. But knowing what it was is also really key because
right.
it's easier to deal with something if you know what it is and you know that it's not going to be long term all the time and cause you pain. Knowing knowledge is power to know how you
exactly
different foods and different.
And my whole life it was always, is it allergies or am I sick?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a little game I would play. And then now it's like, okay, what did I eat?
Mm-hmm.
And if I go out for dinner somewhere, I'm looking through the menu and I'm like, you know what? If I die, I die. But at least I know that I ate this pasta that has dairy in it, and that's gonna.
You enjoyed it, and then tomorrow I'll stop eating dairy and I won't have it for a while. But I know
I'll know I'm going out for dinner, so all week I'll eat super good so that I have my inflammation as low as possible.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Get it under control. So, what was the hardest thing about doing the protocol? Like the first 2 weeks can be challenging. So, what was the hardest part of that for you?
Yes, the first 2 weeks were very challenging. I was in college when I did this, so I didn't really have time to cook. So I was just eating one meal a day. And because I only had time to cook for dinner, and then I'd wake up, I'd have to meal prep something, and then I'm sorry, my little brother's locked out. 1 second.
Oh.
Sorry about that.
No worries. Tell him I said hey.
I told her to come in and be quiet, but I didn't unlock the door. So, anyways, yes, I giving up a lot of food, and I'd say eggs were probably one of the hardest things because I ate them every day, and I would have egg toast for dinner every night because it was fast, it was easy. I could come home from school, I could make myself some egg toast, I could do my homework, and then I could go to work because I was also working.
Oh, jeez.
So the hardest part was finding time to cook. And then the recipes and stuff that she sent me were really great, but a lot of them didn't last in the fridge for more than a night.
Okay. Yeah,
and so I was basically having to cook something fresh every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, I don't have the time or energy to do this. So I started to lose a lot of weight, very fast.
Really?
And wither away because I wanted to follow this like to the T.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this isn't a diet you can have cheat days with. If you take a cheat day and you eat something, you're going to be miserable.
Right. Especially in the beginning. Definitely.
Right.
Definitely key. You have to follow so you can figure out what's going on and what's really causing the problems.
Exactly.
Wow. So you're saying sometimes food prep was the hardest thing. Sometimes finding choices, and of course, being a student is hard anyway. And if you're in the midst of it, that can be very chaotic. Tell us again, how long before you felt relief?
Within the first 2 weeks. So I did the little symptom survey thing, and they give you a score. Mm-hmm. And before I started LEAP, I was at a score of 49. And after the first 2 weeks of trying this, I had dropped my score all the way down to 14.
Whoa.
which
That's
it was
huge.
huge for me. I have never been able to breathe so well in my life. And even some of the things that they didn't test for that made a difference were like yeast wasn't tested for back when I took it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And the dietitian I was working with was like, they didn't test for yeast, but you can have it. And then a little later on, she was like, I want to try something.
You're like, no, you can't have it.
Right. Because of your history with seasonal allergies, trees, molds, yada, yada, try giving up yeast and see how you feel. And it was like night and day.
That's a magic bullet.
It really was. Getting rid of everything else and then getting rid of the yeast, I was like, wow, I have a nose and I can breathe out of it. That's crazy.
Imagine that. So
and I had sinus surgery to open up my nose prior to this. And
wow.
my tonsils taken out, just tons of allergy related surgeries.
Yeah. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable. So tell us what a typical day is like. What do you typically eat in a day?
So I don't currently follow the LEAP program like specifically anymore.
Right. I had time to add all your foods in. So just give people an idea of like, okay, the first 2 weeks are really tough, but we talked about adding foods in.
Right.
And I kind of want to see where you are now. So people who are listening to this, I'm going to be like, that's all I could eat for the rest of my life. For 2 weeks, I want them to know that there is an end of the tunnel, a bright end of the tunnel. So it's not like you're going to be stuck with eating this for the rest of your life.
Right.
We do efforts to balance everything out.
Exactly. Let's see. My dad pretty much cooks now that I'm home temporarily. And we eat pretty clean. Most of the time we have pasta and we have fresh vegetables that are organic. And then we put all of our own blends of herbs and spices on them. So we're not buying like stuff with additives, like the pre-mixed stuff. And also that way we can eliminate stuff like cayenne, which I'm reactive to. And doing our own blends. That way they can add whatever the heck they want to their portions, but my portion gets dished out first. Right. And then they doctor up the rest.
They want to. But you can also doctor it up with different spices that you're able to eat that you enjoy. So you're not really sitting at a table with a bland plate of pasta with of spinach per se. So it's not boring. It can be as exciting as you want it to be, and you can also experiment with some of your safer foods, and you could experiment trying one new food at a time to broaden the amount of things that you're able to eat. So you're not stuck.
Exactly. And then I have found I still go out to eat, and there are some places I avoid and some places I'm willing to take a little bit of discomfort from. Peanuts I was allergic to on both the IgE and on the MRT. And I love Chick-fil-A. So it's just, I'm like, if I want to eat Chick-fil-A, I'll just take a couple Benadryls and then I'll eat Chick-fil-A like 2 or 3 times a year.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Very, very minimal.
You're having it on special times, and you're constantly feeding it to your body. It's going to make you feel bad. So
and then, especially when I limit it, when I have the reaction, it's not prolonged. It's just like, okay, I'm miserable for like maybe an hour or 2.
Right.
A couple times a year.
You're getting out of your system, and the entire time you just felt off.
Right.
It's a total game changer in quality of life, though.
It is.
If you go from a couple of hours and knowing what it's caused it to going from you're eating the food over and over again and you don't know what it is, but it's healthy food that you're eating. So what's wrong with this picture? So this is a great way of determining what that is, so we can figure out how to help you eat healthy, how to help you enjoy what you're eating.
Exactly. It goes back to the game. Is it something I ate? Is it allergies, or am I sick? But
Right.
through this program, I know for sure when it is allergies, when it is something I ate, and when it is, okay, I actually am sick this time.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It's so important. So how has your life changed since starting LEAP?
So mostly I've never realized how well I could breathe. Since I was a child, that's something I struggled with. And now that I know what to stay away from, I know how to breathe like everybody else. I always thought breathing through your nose was a joke. I thought it was just something that people made up. And
Mm-hmm.
you only breathe through your nose when you're like in the shower or drinking something. But people can actually just sit there and breathe through their nose and not have to take deep breaths like I used to.
Mm-hmm.
That was huge for me, because then I'm not sitting in class with my mouth gaping open. And
Right. Yeah. People are like, what's going on over there?
right.
Yeah.
So that was something. Towards the beginning, I was like, wow, I can breathe through my nose. That was huge for me.
What about exercise?
Exercise, yes, because I do get like inner ear vertigo and stuff like that. And I have pulsatile tinnitus, which flares up when I have a lot of inflammation. Mm-hmm. So it was really miserable to go work out. And then I'm inflamed. My joints hurt. My ears are super loud. So then I wouldn't be able to do cardio. I would do a lot of weightlifting because I wouldn't struggle to breathe when I was weightlifting. But as far as the cardio goes, I do enjoy a little bit of cardio. Mm-hmm. So it made that a lot less miserable as well.
Awesome. If you were going to tell somebody who was debating about doing this, what would you tell them?
Oh, I'd tell them to do it in a heartbeat. I tell a lot of my friends to do it. I'm like, I did this. It was really hard, but I think you would really, really benefit from it. And if you try it and you hate it after give it at least 3 months. Mm-hmm. At the very least, give it 3 months. And if you hate it, at least you'll know what your red and your yellow foods to stay away from are.
Right.
But I really do think it's worth it. I have a friend, one of my best friends has lupus. And I have told her for years to do this. And luckily she's in remission right now. But I'm like, if you have another flare up, you could know before you could prevent a flare up if inflammation with this, or you can make that flare up less intense if you eliminate the inflammation caused by just the food you're eating.
Right. Awesome. Very awesome. Well, it's been lovely talking to you. I want to thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Again, I just think this is amazing. Like, I can't believe that it took me so long to find it. It's been a game changer for me. So I want to thank you, Rebecca, for helping me share how important this is and how life-changing it can be.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for having me.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.